And welcome to a new episode of The Simpsons Did It. I'm your host, Steven Skolansky.
And I'm your co-host, Robert Skolansky.
And this week, how about we go on a sugar high and accidentally join the Boy Scouts? I mean, sorry, not the Boy Scouts.
No affiliation.
Yeah, a Boy Scout-like group.
Yeah, we were both in the Boy Scouts.
Yeah, and we didn't have to get on a sugar high and accidentally sign up for it.
No, because our mom, I don't know if our mom forced us into it, but I don't know, I had fun doing Boy Scouts.
Yeah, no, it was, I think it was a great time. I never made it all the way to Eagle Scout, but...
No, I quit Boy Scouts because I felt it was too much of a chore. Like, they're just asking you to do all this stuff, and it's like, I just want to go camping and not do the extra stuff. So, you know, it's, Boy Scouts is fun, but, yeah, I think I stopped in, like, 8th grade.
Oh, you didn't make it super, super far?
No,
I made it all the way to the Heart one, and then I was like, oh, I gotta do all this stuff for Eagle Scout, and then give a speech and do all this crap. I'm like, no, not worth it. I don't think it's worth it. But Bart, he stumbled into the junior campers group, and you know, just really went for it. And
did he though?
Yeah, we'll explain. We'll get into this and explain. So
yeah, this is season 5, episode 8, Boy Scouts in the Hood. The title of this episode references the 91 film Boys in the Hood with, I believe, Martin Lawrence and Will Smith.
Yep.
Okay. No, that's Bad Boys.
Oh yeah. What are you talking about?
I don't know. I've never watched Boys in the Hood.
No, neither have I. But
it's also a song by rapper Eazy-E from the mid 80s.
Yeah. So they so the 91 film stole it from him, and then the Simpsons stole it from him.
Yes.
All right, I like it.
So air date November 11th, 1993. Recap: Bart and Milhouse join the Boy Scouts. Homer and Ned accompany the Scouts on a rafting trip.
Yeah, don't ever take Homer on a boat of any kind.
No. No chalkboard gag this week.
No, I don't think there was like no opening this week. Didn't it just go right into the couch?
Right in the couch, and we get so the lights are out in the living room, and we see 5 pairs of eyeballs enter. The lights turn on to show us only the eyes, and the eyeless Simpson family rushes in, sits down, and like have the eyes plop back into their head.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I think that's really funny. That's a good one.
Yeah, it was pretty good. By the way, Boys in the Hood featured Cuba Gooding Jr. and Larry Fishburne.
Lawrence Fishburne?
Larry Fishburne.
Is he related to Lawrence Fishburne?
I don't know, but it also stars Ice Cube.
Yeah, I knew that.
Oh, it is Lawrence Fishburne. Who wrote Larry?
What are you on? What kind of site are you on?
That was on like the Google site. Somebody wrote Larry. Dude's name is Lawrence. I don't think he went his entire life to be called Larry.
Nope, he went his entire life to be called Cowboy Curtis.
Yeah, actually, it's a pretty good cast. You got Cuba Gooding Jr., Morris Chestnut, Ice Cube, Lawrence Fishburne, Nia Long, and Angela Bassett.
Yeah, it's a pretty good cast.
Yeah. So
this week we start at the Noiseland Arcade, where the boys are playing some video games. Because, you know, let's just say 90s, that was the thing to do in the 90s, was go to the arcade. Now it's starting to make a little bit of a comeback, but you had skating rinks, you had arcades, and you had bowling alleys. Like, those were the hot spots.
Well, bowling alleys are still a pretty big thing.
Are they? I guess I thought maybe for grown-ups. I feel like for grown-ups it's more of a big thing, because you go to like any of our bowling alleys around the city, and it's just grown-ups drinking. They're more like bar locations that have bowling alleys attached to them.
Well, I mean, we have an arcade bar here in Green Bay as well as you. I know you have one in Minnesota, probably a few locations, I'm sure.
Yep.
So that's a lot different, where you just drink, and then play arcade games, which
Yep.
is amazing.
Yeah, so there's an Alien arcade. I don't know if that's a real one. I feel like it's got to be. I feel like Alien has to be a real arcade. That was a popular movie. I feel like there's a real Alien arcade.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
And there is a Terminator game. So
Yes.
so you have the big gun. They actually just, so if you guys want to know, the Rise of the not Rise of the Machines, Judgment Day was the big arcade cabinet, and Arcade 1-Up just made a gun Judgment Day
Interesting.
arcade remodel. So that's really awesome, and I'm glad they kind of started making some games in the Simpsons universe, like based on real games.
Yeah.
And it seems like everyone's in line for the
Oh,
Terminator, because that was a big game. That was a huge
It was
2-player game. It was kind of like one of the first games, along with like Area 51, where it was like that shooter style game. But Martin, being Martin, is playing My Dinner with Andre.
Which, oh my god, that's an amazing reference. I mean, I never saw the movie, but it stars Wallace Shawn, so
he's like, tell me more. Slides the joystick up. What an interesting game. Yeah, just so you know, it has 3 controls.
Yes.
Tensioned Insight, Tell Me More, and Bon Mot.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means, but those are the 3 controls on My Dinner with Andre. That's all you get. So that's pretty good. And so Bart, we get to Bart, and he's playing Panamanian Strongman, which, okay.
Time out. Bon mot is a noun, and it means a witty remark.
Oh, okay. It's kind of like, not like a choose your own adventure, but like, it's like those games. You know how, like, have you played those games on PlayStation where it's like you're having a conversation, you have to select your response?
Oh, yeah.
It's like that. It's a whole game of just talking.
Yeah.
No action, just talking.
It's like, isn't LA Noire kind of like that?
I never played it.
Okay.
But yeah, Bart's playing Panamanian Strongman, which obviously looks like a King Kong ripoff. But what's the point of the game? Like, or what part of the game was he in?
I don't know.
Like, I get it. And then the airplanes that are flying around shoot him, and apparently that makes you lose. Like, you're the big guy falling off the building. And then President Bush comes out and says, winners don't use drugs.
I don't get it. Like, I know Panama's kind of a big place for, like, drug cartels, but it's still a weird game.
It's a weird game. I don't know. But then Bart says he's all out of money. And in an arcade, not the smartest thing to say.
Nope.
And we see a bunch of security guards, kind of like at a casino, call it Code Red. And Bart and Milhouse are kicked out of the arcade because, hey, if you don't have money, you can't be in there. Which,
that's a little extreme.
Yeah, I feel like, people go to the arcade with friends and, watch other friends play. And
yeah,
I feel like you could be allowed to be there without money, but nope. No.
Not at Noiseland.
Not at Noiseland. You're out of there. And so Bart asks Milhouse, how are they going to kill the rest of the afternoon when an old man tells them they must seize the day, and then asks them for change to go get loaded.
Well, clearly they just got kicked out of the arcade. They don't have any money, old man.
Yeah. What else are they going to do?
Yeah.
And so one of the best scenes in Simpsons history right here. So Homer is sitting on the couch, enjoying his peaceful afternoon, has a bunch of things on
magazines
and just stuff stacked on a TV tray because he's obviously just getting ready to apparently read. And so he starts with the honey roasted peanuts. Like, finally a little quiet time to read some of my old favorites. Honey roasted peanuts. Ingredients: salt, artificial honey roasting agents, pressed peanut sweepings.
So good.
And then Marge comes in.
This line I use all the time.
Yes, comes in It's like, I'm gonna go pick up dinner. Steak?
Like, money's too tight for steak.
Steak?
Sure, Homer. Steak.
Sure, steak.
Oh God, I use that line all the time. All the time. I use that.
Yeah, it's amazing. This episode, just the beginning of this episode, I mean, the whole episode's amazing, but just the beginning of this episode is just fantastic. It's like, the last peanut, overflowing with the oil and salt of its departed brothers. Something's wrong.
Oh, God.
And so he misses his mouth. Just completely.
Yeah, it throws it at his mouth. Like, he just tries to toss it in his mouth. He completely misses, and it rolls away.
We've all done that.
Yeah.
We've all done that. And so Homer goes out of the ground looking for the peanut, sticks his hand underneath his couch. It's like, pointy. Ooh, slimy. Moving. $20.
But I wanted a peanut.
His Homer's brain. $20 can buy many peanuts. Explain how. Money can be exchanged for goods and services. Woohoo! And then he starts running towards the door when he slips on the peanut that he missed his mouth from earlier. So apparently it never went under the couch.
No.
It just bounced and went onto the floor.
Yeah.
And the $20 bill starts floating away and out the window. Which, man, that's well, first of all, for those of you that don't know, in TV and movies, normally live action, windows don't have screens.
Correct.
None of them. They never have screens. So it stands to reason that at the Simpsons house, the windows would have screens.
I do like the fact too so he trips and the money starts floating away. You hear the song "Flight of the Bumblebee" playing in the background.
Yes, that's awesome. And so Bart and Milhouse are back
outside the arcade.
Yeah, they're outside the arcade, but the money flies away, and Bart and Milhouse, are punching each other because what else are you gonna do? And Homer's $20 lands in front of them, and Bart looks at it like, I think a plane exploded. Because I mean, why else would you think of money would just be wandering over to them, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I would just imagine somebody lost a 20 and it floated away.
Or that. I think a plane exploded would be better. But so Bart walks in. Apu's like, "Hello, gents. What will it be?" Apu, give us a super squishy. One that's entirely out of syrup. Entirely and all syrup squishy? Oh, such a thing has never been done. And then Bart slaps the 20 on the counter. Just make it happen.
I love how everybody in the store gasps. And then the last scene you see is Snake robbing the Quickie Mart.
Yeah. Because even he's like, well, I got to see how this thing plays out. and so Bart, starts pouring a squishy. Apu starts getting the squishy and it starts shaking. Because, okay, have you ever loaded up a soda machine or a squishy machine with the syrup?
No.
So I used to work at Target, and back in the day, Targets actually had food courts.
They still do.
Really? I've never seen a Target with a grill. Like you remember our Target scene. I'm talking a full-on almost restaurant where you can make grilled cheese, chicken tenders, burgers.
Yeah, the Target on the I can't remember if the Target by my house has they have a Starbucks, but the one on the west side of Green Bay still has their little they have a Starbucks, but you can also do pizza and food like that.
Yeah, but they don't have a grill and everything. I think they got rid of all of those.
Well, yeah, they just stick it in the oven.
But I actually had to load the soda machines. And I've never thought that the syrup was ever this thick. It's thick, it's a syrup, but I never thought it would be this thing. And I didn't realize, a machine could separate the ice and the syrup. But apparently Apu's Quickie Mart squishy machines can. And the settings on the squishy machine are recommended dosage. Makes sense. Unhealthy dosage and experimental.
Yeah. So the machine, so he starts pouring it. The machine shakes while making the drink, and I don't think it's going to hold. And everybody's like freaking out, and then it dings. All done.
Yeah.
And then he hands him the squishy. If you survive, please come again.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's so good. So Bart and Milhouse take the super syrup squishy outside, and it's so thick, like Milhouse can't even
that's
suck it.
That's the weird thing. I mean, I know it's thick, but I don't think it's like concrete mixer Dairy Queen thick.
No. But Bart drinks it and he goes, "Whoa, that's good, squishy." Yeah. Oh God. So Bart and Milhouse go on a sugar high, and like we're young, rich, and full of sugar. What do we do? Let's go crazy Broadway style. Now, before we get into the montage, how do they have any money left?
Well, that maybe okay. Now, what they do is I feel like way more than $20, but
correct.
I would say the super squishy maybe wasn't a full $20. Maybe,
but Bart put the 20 on the table. We don't see him get change.
Well, no, but we don't see much of anything. We just see him getting handed the squishy, and we don't see the actual physical transaction either. We don't see the money going into the register, but. So maybe he only charged him $5 for. I'm
gonna go. That's $8. Well, don't forget this is also a poo. He overcharges everything.
Okay, even if it's $8, just take out $12 left
to do everything.
Yep.
So we get the song. They start singing the song "Springfield, Springfield," which is adapted from the song "New York, New York" from the 44 Broadway musical On the Town.
Do you want to know the lyrics?
Sure.
Okay, so the Springfield song lyrics. Springfield, Springfield, it's a hell of a town. The schoolyard's up and the shopping mall's down. And the stray dogs go to the animal pound. Springfield, Springfield.
Springfield, Springfield.
New York, New York.
New York's that away, man.
Thanks, kid. It's a hell of a town.
So South Park ripped off The Simpsons, kind of. Because they kind of do the same thing with their in the movie What Would Brian Boitano Do, where the guy's like, oh, did somebody say Brian Dennehy? Yeah. Simpsons did it first.
Oh, the Simpsons always do it first.
So now we get a montage of Bart and Milhouse on the town, where they go to a private skateboard park, VIP arcade. Apparently, they go see the musical Cats, which Bart spitball at him, and you do hear like the meowing like reaction.
Okay. All right. First of all, why are they going to see Cats? Second,
because they're on a sugar high.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. Okay. But secondly, I love how Bart's sitting here, not necessarily enjoying the show, but looking at the show, watching it.
Yeah.
And Milhouse is just looking around like, what are all these people doing here? And then Bart does the spitball thing. And the cats start meowing, and Milhouse turns around and is like, well, what did I miss?
Yeah. So, So then we see Bart and Milhouse. They got, like, packs of bubble gum, and they chew it, and they blow a huge bubble. And, like, they get covered in bubble gum. And Homer walks by. Free goo.
Oh, that's great. And so now it's nighttime, apparently. They've been on this sugar high for a while.
Oh, yeah.
And so before we get to the rub-on tattoos, they go by a bunch of other places.
Okay.
Kid-oriented night spots.
Yeah.
And that Blur. So there's the nights. There's Models and Model Decal Store.
Okay.
Triple G rated. Like triple X rated.
Yeah.
Sweet Tooth. Like they need more candy.
Yeah.
Bootleg Records. Which is awesome. So in the 90s, we had things like Napster, LimeWire, a bunch of places, where you could get...
Do you like getting a free virus on your computer? Use LimeWire.
All Night Arcade, which I don't know why they'd go back to an arcade. Booking, batting, and bicycle seat covers.
Jeez.
Boy, they must be really high out of their mind going to these places.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they come out of a rub-on tattoos, open 24 hours, where they're just sleeves of rub-on tattoos. Hey, if I'm on a sugar high, I'm getting some tattoos.
I'm not.
No. Not some real tattoos. Rub-on tattoos. Maybe
Okay, I'll do rub-on tattoos.
We should open a rub-on tattoo shop.
Why?
Because it would be awesome.
That would fail in like a week.
Why? They'd have to keep... Look, it's recurring income. They only last 3 days. They'd have to come back.
Plus, if somebody wants to get...
Tattoos are permanent, man. They'll never come back.
Yeah, they will. They have to get touch-ups.
Oh, okay. But I like how Bart and Milhouse are fighting over the... I'm surprised there's any squishy left at this point.
Yeah.
But I like
well, it's so thick, so...
maybe. But I like how Barney's just following him around and just takes the drink from him. I don't know where you magic pixies came from, but I like your pixie drink.
Well, yeah, it's sugar.
Yep. Well, Barney had to take a little bit of a break from, beer and get some squishy syrup in him. So, and it's the next morning.
Yep.
And Bart wakes up.
And who hasn't been here where Bart is?
Yeah, normally not on sugar, but
no,
you know where we're going with that.
Yeah.
And he wakes up and he removes the covers, and he's wearing
No. So he's under the covers.
Yeah.
And Lisa comes in and he's like, I don't remember anything from yesterday. And Lisa's like tisking him. She's like, the remorse of the sugar junkie. She removes the covers. Because he's like, I don't remember anything. And she goes, not even this, and pulls the cover to show him in the junior camper uniform.
Yeah. Oh my God, that was great. And, and he's like, the few, the proud, the geeky.
Which is a reference to the Marine motto, the few, the proud, the Marines.
Yep. Yeah. Bart says, man, a squishy bender could do some crazy things. And then I like how we cut to Barney on a boat wearing a sailor uniform. He's like, not again.
So that, what?
Apparently Barney gets drunk and joins sailors.
Joins the Navy?
Joins the Navy, yeah. Maybe.
Yeah, but I don't know what kind of ship that was.
Looked like a cargo ship. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then Bart walks into the kitchen, and he's like, okay, look, I made a terrible mistake. I wandered into a junior camper recruitment center, but what's done is done. I've made my bed, and now I've got to weasel out of it. And then Homer, oh my God, I love Homer.
Well, Marge, didn't want him to weasel out of it.
No. Marge tells Bart that they do a lot of neat things, sing-alongs and flag ceremonies, which no. They do, but no. And Homer's like, Marge, don't discourage the boy. Weaseling out of things is important to learn. And it's what separates us from the animals. Well, except the weasel.
I love it. Oh, my God. So good.
I love Homer's advice. Homer's advice is always...
terrible?
Always great. What
terrible?
Are you talking about? Terrible.
It's not good advice.
It's always great. And yeah, so and so Milhouse tells, they're at school, and Bart, I don't know why Bart's still wearing the damn thing. Or is
I
he
don't
back
know.
Is he back in his normal clothes?
Yeah, he is back in his normal clothes.
And Milhouse tells Bart he's lucky he only joined the junior campers. Milhouse had a dirty word shaved into the back of his head. I want to know what word it was.
I know.
Have you ever had anything shaved into the back of your head?
No.
No? Okay. You never
Why,
asked,
have you?
No. You never asked John to shave like a lightning bolt in the back of your head? Or
No.
So I like how Skinner comes by and sees it and tells Milhouse he's going to have to shave him bald until Milhouse learns that hair is not a right. It's a privilege. And obviously,
he's like,
I feel like that's something you learned in the Army.
Yeah. Well, it's funny, too, because he's like, what is with you kids and that word?
I know. I'm like, what word is it? I want to know. Oh, I want to know. I really do. And then and Nelson comes up. Hey, Campers Pampers.
Well, he sees the uniform and calls it Campers Pampers.
Yeah. That's what I said. He comes up to him and says, hey, Campers Pampers.
No, the uniform is called Campers Pampers.
No, he's making fun of Bart and calling him Campers Pampers.
You know what Pampers are? Diapers, right?
Yeah.
Why would you call somebody diapers?
I don't
No,
know.
the uniform falls out of the backpack. Nelson holds it up
Oh.
and says, "Look, Campers Pampers."
Oh. And then the bullies start playing keep away with it, and Bart's like, all right, whatever. I didn't even want to be in these guys anyways. And then they threaten him to care about his oh, that's great.
Oh no, what are you doing? Give it back.
Yeah. And then Kerbopple, wants to tell the class something when Martin interrupts and asks if they're going to get a pop quiz. Which Kerbopple obliges to do because it's like, well, I wasn't going to do that. I bet it was going to be like, oh, we're going to have a movie day or, something awesome. And, Martin has to always screw it up. And then I like how one of the kids is like raising his hands all like, blah, oh, right. If anyone's in junior campers, you're excused. And Bart's sitting here trying to get his thing on. And Nelson laughs at Bart for putting on his uniform. Bart tells Nelson that, hey, enjoy the test. And Nelson starts to do his laugh when he realizes that, wait a minute. I mean, I guess there are benefits. Okay, there were always benefits for being in Boy Scouts on a sports team. I remember when we had away games for soccer, we were allowed to leave school like an hour early to get on the bus and go to, wherever.
What?
Yeah, you guys.
No, we never left school early for away games.
Yeah, so if we played in any of like the southern Milwaukee suburbs, like Franklin or I can't remember any of the other cities. Well, I know one started with like an M or something, but yeah, we got to leave about an hour early.
I don't believe you.
No, we did.
I don't believe you at all because I played soccer as well.
Yeah, but you were 4 years behind me, so they might have changed things.
Why would they change things?
I don't know, but we always got to leave early. And especially our golf, well, you didn't do golf. So golf, we got to do that too. Anytime we had a golf tournament, they didn't want it.
Well, golf takes longer.
Well, that and they didn't want us golfing into the after sunset or anything.
Yes.
So
I believe you on golf. I do not believe you on soccer.
No, soccer, we got to do it too. But yeah, so they go to the junior campers meeting and, he opens up the door and Ned Flanders is
well, you missed the sign on the door.
Yes. Well, yes, there's the junior campers meeting room, not affiliated with the Boy Scouts of America. Yeah.
Yeah, the title of the episode is called Boy Scouts in the Hood.
I know, that's kind of weird. It's like they couldn't use their slogans and stuff, but they did use their slogans and stuff. Yeah. I guess I don't really know where... I guess I'm trying to think of where they were, kind of trying to get the rights for certain things, which I don't know if the Boy Scouts really, you can't get the rights to certain things.
Yeah.
But I like how when Bart walks up to this, like, hello, alternative to testing. And then he walks in, Ned Flanders stands among, the other uniformed boys, and he's also wearing a uniform, which Boy Scout Masters always did.
Yep.
And Ned was like, well, it's Bart Simpson. Come in. You're just in time for Sponge Bath the Old Folks Day. And then Ned steps back to reveal Jasper just sitting in a bathtub. And Jasper's
not even a bathtub, just like a tub.
Yeah. And Jasper's like, help yourself, but stay above the equator. I'm like, oh, come on. That's not... Okay. That's not something the Boy Scouts would do.
But I think Boy Scouts would go to old folks' homes to entertain the
like read stories, play checkers, stuff like that.
So Bart, sees this, tries to run away, gets his bandana caught in the door, and knocks himself out cold, and then he wakes up to one of the junior campers giving a mouth to mouth, which chest compressions are the best form of keeping somebody alive. If they've been knocked out.
Yeah.
So, Bart's like, I'm out of here, man. And as he's about to leave, Ned announces it's time to take out their pocket knives, which Bart's like, ooh, knives. And he sees a camper with his knife out, or with the pocket knife out, so he grabs it and he opens it up to the spork. And the camper's like, don't stab me, man, with a spork.
Yeah, sporks are dangerous. Don't you know that?
Well, they can be if they're sharp. I mean, if they're metal, they could be dangerous. The best use for a spork is to scoop somebody's eyeballs out. Anyways,
although a spork on a pocket knife might not be the best
no
use.
No. So Ned takes the pocket knife away from Bart and tells him he's not allowed to have one until he reads the book, The 10 Do's and 500 Don'ts of Knife Safety, and then pass a test. So Bart is like, who needs a knife anyways?
Yeah, I feel like I'm sure we had to pass some sort of like knife training and stuff in Boy Scouts.
Probably. I don't remember. That was way too long ago.
Yeah.
So Bart, leaves and he walks down the street by Moe's. And Bart is like, oh, knives are boring. And Hans Mole Man gets thrown out of Moe's. And Moe comes out yelling at him for not putting his beer on a coaster,
Yeah.
which I feel like Moe wouldn't care.
No, but I'm sure Moe was nice enough to put a coaster and his beer on it, and then Mole Man took the beer off of it. Instead of putting it right back on the coaster, he put it on the bar. Although, I know bartenders that really hate that, because you got to wipe the rings off the bar tops and stuff like that. So that's why they give you coasters.
Yes. So Moe, as he kicks him out, is holding a knife. It's like a little knife. And Hans Mole Man, I love how he unsheathes his cane to show basically a sword. And he goes, you call that a knife? This is a knife, which is, as we all know, is a reference to Crocodile Dundee.
That's not a knife, that's a spoon. Oh, I see you've never played Knifey Spoony before. So not the only knife reference in The Simpsons.
Correct. So, but the knife is too heavy for Hans Mole Man, and he falls down.
I've always wanted a cane knife or a cane sword. I actually almost bought one once. There was a shop at the Mall of America that had one, and it took every ounce of my strength not to buy the thing.
How much was it going for? Do you remember?
$60.
Oh my god, I'd have to fight the urge.
Oh my god, I know. I had to fight the urge. I'm like, dude, I've always wanted a fucking cane sword, but I can't bring this home. There's no way I can bring this home.
So, So Bart stumbles upon Martin, who has a box of cookies he can't get open because the ribbon is tied on too tight. And Martin sees Bart and tells him, hey, we can share the cookies if you help me get the ribbon off. But Bart doesn't have a knife. So Jimbo, cuts the ribbon and, opens the box. And Martin's like, oh, we can share the cookies. But Jimbo steals it and pushes Martin into the street. Was that oil in the street?
Yeah, I'm sure a car was parked there just leaking oil.
That was a lot of mess, a lot of black goo.
Yeah.
And then Bart comes across Hibbert performing surgery on a guy whose appendix was about to burst, which I feel like doing that in the middle of the street, that guy's going to die. And also Hibbert could probably get sued for not using anesthesia.
Well, hey, when a guy's appendix look, it was literally seconds away from exploding.
Yeah, because Hibbert removes the appendix and then throws it away like it's a bomb or a grenade, and it explodes off screen.
Yeah.
And everybody cheers.
Thank the knife. Oh,
and,
it seems also everywhere I look, people are enjoying knives.
So Bart decides to read the book. And I love how, he reads it. It's, don't do what Donnie don't does.
I know. It couldn't be more clear.
So we see in the book, we see pictures of Donnie brushing his teeth with a knife. Donnie uses the knife in a slingshot. And also Donnie is going to stab a cat. Donnie has some problems.
I think Donnie's a psychopath.
Just a little bit.
I feel like Bart and Donnie might have a lot in common. I don't think Bart's necessarily a murderer of animals.
No, because he has pets.
Yeah, but I think slingshotting a knife could be up Bart's wheelhouse a little bit.
Yeah.
They just don't want him to have any fun.
No, I don't.
And so Homer comes into Bart's room, and he's like, how was jerk practice, boy? Did they teach you how to sing to trees and make crappy furniture out of useless wooden legs? Oh, wait, no.
No, you're ahead.
I am ahead. Sorry. Where was it?
Homer goes into Bart's room to make fun of Bart.
He does, yeah.
And Marge walks by and, Homer, you have to be more supportive. oh, okay. Oh, boy, you're doing good. And then Marge like walks off screen. And then Homer mocks Bart again and Marge yells at him.
Yep. Yeah, that's awesome. And then we cut to the next scene, and Bart receives his rubber knife and tells Bart that he has reached the rank of Pussy Willow.
I laughed so hard.
That is not one of the ranks in the Boy Scouts.
No, but the word Pussy Willow is hilarious.
Yeah. I like how wasn't it all like animals like wolf and
Cub Scouts was, I believe, all animals. And then Boy Scouts was not all animals. I know Eagle is the highest rank.
Yeah, Eagle Scout's the highest. But then Heart Scout is like the second, so that's not an animal. I don't know. They're really weird.
Yes.
But I like how Bart's like, all right, I'm out of here. It's like, I'm going to teach you guys how to trap animals. But this should only be used in a life or death situation. And so Bart stays.
Yep.
And so the next scene, we see a trap in the kitchen with a pie in it. And Homer's like, ooh, floor pie. And Homer walks in, gets snagged by the trap. And I like how he's swinging back and forth. It's a dog's, sad his little helper's eating it. Yeah. And he's like, oh.
Well, he wanted the floor pie.
Yeah, who wouldn't want a floor pie?
I mean, it was even on a plate, so it technically wasn't even on the floor.
Yep. Yeah. And so now we see Bart in his room sewing on his badges. He's got one for archery, rent collecting.
Debt collecting.
Rent collecting.
Why would you be... No, it was debt.
You sure?
Positive.
TV trivia, which, dude, I want that badge. I'd get that badge in a heartbeat. Embalming. All right. I guess Ned took him to a mortuary to help him learn how to be a... what are those guys called?
Embalmers?
Embalmers? Or what's their... That's not their job.
Mortician?
Mortician, there we go. And patch forgery. So which one of those were forged patches?
All of them except for archery.
All of them except for archery? Okay. That's okay. That makes sense. Okay. Yeah. I like it. And then now Bart apparently is somehow able to get through concrete and dirt to dig a hole in the driveway. And
he had somebody come in with a jackhammer.
Okay. And I like how it's just covered with a tarp. And boy, Homer's dumb. And just falls into the hole.
Yep.
Oh, that's good. Yep. Yeah. And then, so now we cut to Lisa and Bart watching Itchy and Scratchy. Yep. Wilderness is the title this week. And Itchy and Scratchy are having a fire when it starts to rain. And so Itchy decides to use Scratchy as a tent and, stakes his paws into the ground, feet into the ground, his tail, and then takes his tongue, and takes a stake and boinks him up so he has coverage. And then Itchy uses it as a tent, and Scratchy gets struck by lightning, which, it's a good thing you're in a tent. Although I don't think tents are very grounded for lightning strikes, but unless you use a metal stake, unless you use a metal stake as the center pole thing, then I can.
Well, here's the other thing too. Yes, lightning is attracted to metal, but I feel like a tent would be so low to the ground that the lightning's probably not going to be able to find it.
Yeah, probably. And then I like how Bart's like, the guy who wrote this Itchy and Scratchy episode don't know anything. Explain how Itchy should have used a clove hitch instead of a, I can't remember what the other knot was. But, it is funny how, Bart's breaking down the TV show and we're literally doing the same thing on this podcast. So we're just as good as Bart, apparently.
Yeah. Well, Lisa tells Bart that cartoons don't have to be 100% realistic, and a second Homer walks by the window.
See, Robert, cartoons don't have to be 100% realistic.
Yes, they do.
So
Gravity, what the hell is that?
Yeah. And so Ned tells everyone about the upcoming camping trip, the father-son rafting trip.
Yep.
And Bart, I like how daydreams about Homer coming, and he's just all dumb looking. He's wearing I like how that's kind of almost foreshadowing where Homer's wearing the map as a sailor hat. Because I mean, you do have to
And as they're paddling, Homer's like splashing everybody.
Yeah. God, Homer on a rafting trip is not a good idea. And
Nope.
and so I like how Warren shows up crying because his dad's in prison, and Ned got him a special celebrity dad, Ernest Borgnine. And I like how Warren is like he's about to say, "Well, my older brother wanted to go." No. This guy's already been confirmed.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
Yeah, I don't know why Ned would just volunteer. I feel like you should ask him first.
Yeah, that's so weird because it's Ned too. Like Ned probably wouldn't do that.
Yeah, I feel like Ned would either ask him first and be like, "Hey, we got a guy for you," or do you have anyone else that you would like to bring?
Yeah.
On the trip. So yeah. And I like how Ernest walks into the room and introduces him like Troy McClure. Hey, you might have seen me on this show.
Yep.
So, yeah. And so now Bart comes home, and so this is where Bart walks in the living room wearing his junior camper uniform, and Homer's like, "How was jerk practice, boy? Did they teach you how to sing to trees and make crappy furniture out of useless wooden logs, huh?" And then Homer's chair collapses. And see, Homer got a crappy chair. He's like, "Don't, stupid poetic justice." And Bart's like, "Actually, we're just planning the father-son rafting trip." You don't have a son.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, Homer.
So Bart goes up to...
I feel like did we ever have a father-son anything? I don't think
Nope.
our dad actually did anything.
Well, we did. So I remember when we did camping trips, our mom would come with me.
Oh, that must have sucked.
That was terrible. Although the one year we went, there was a really bad storm, so we had to spend like half the night in the car.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The only thing our dad went on with me was I think it was our 5th grade outing to like this like park thing with horse riding and leather and
what?
Yeah, it was like some sort of like it was an overnight thing where we did like leather making and horse riding, and they had like a water slide, and that was the only time our dad actually went chaperoning with us. It was our dad and Ben's dad.
Okay.
Were the two chaperones for that trip. And so, yeah, that's really the only thing. And it seemed like he actually had a good time. Like, it didn't seem like he had a bad time. But that's really the only time our dad, I think, ever did any.
I can't really remember a time that our dad chaperoned for me for anything.
Yeah. No, I can't think of any time he ever did anything like that. But yeah, I like how Bart thinking aloud, look, Homer won't want to go, so just ask him, and he'll say no. Then it's his fault. And Homer's like, I don't want to go, so if he asks me to go, I'll just say yes. And Homer Spray's like, wait, are you sure this is how that sort of thing works? Shut up, or I'll stab you with a Q-tip.
So then, Bart and Homer angrily walk out of their rooms and confront each other in the hall. And Bart is like, Homer, will you go? And then Homer's like, yes. And then they sit there for a second and realize, no.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now we cut to them getting ready to go rafting. And Warren is crying, and Ernest is trying to, promise him that they'll have fun. And so Homer is trying to get a raft from the sea captain, and the raft is all like patched up and in bad shape. And Homer's like, I'll take that one. And they push it into the water, and it just sinks to the bottom. And the sea captain's like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah. I don't know what I'm doing.
So, Ned says it's time to pair up. And Homer's like, please don't let it be Flanders. Please don't let it be Flanders. Please don't let it be Flanders. But of course, since Homer's not actually actively talking to the other dads, he gets paired up with Ned.
I feel like Ned would have at least, paired up with someone else. He's the leader of the whole thing. Like, I
Yeah.
figured Ned would have ended up pairing up with Ernest Beauregard or whatever his name is. Borgnine, yeah.
What did you say? Beauregard?
Yeah, I don't know.
Do you not know who Ernest Borgnine is?
No.
Oh my god. So I love how Ned wants to like boot Homer's nose with some sunscreen.
Want me to zinc your sniffer?
Oh my god. So, they go river rafting, and Ned's like, "You want to know why they call them rapids and not slopids?" And Bart laughs, and Homer's like, "Stop laughing, boy."
So you went on the raft. How many times did you go on the rafting trip in 7th
0.
grade? 0? You never went on the 7th grade rafting trip?
So I didn't go 7th grade because that was the year I did the cave trip. I was supposed to go in 8th grade, but that was the year I broke my wrist.
Oh man, dude, I went on the rafting trip, I think 4 times.
How did you go 4 times?
7th grade, 8th grade, and then I chaperoned my freshman year and sophomore year.
I mean, I did go white water rafting in Costa Rica, so.
Okay, so at least you've been rafting.
Yes.
And that rafting trip was so much fun. Like, I have to say, I mean, one of the years that I went, it did rain, which was kind of sad, but yeah, we always had a place we'd stop to eat, and I mean, it was so much fun. And there was only one time where we almost went off the waterfall, because at the end of the Apple River, there's a waterfall where you're supposed to get your boats over.
Oh.
Yeah, that's not fun. But yeah, the other time I went rafting down the Jordan River in Israel.
Okay.
And so, yeah, I've been on a lot of rivers with a few rapids here and there. So I could see how Ned would, maybe Ned just didn't understand what rafting really was, which is kind of sad. But
yeah, when I was in Montana, we were on the Missouri River. There wasn't too much quick rapids there. There's a couple small spots where like the water went faster, but nope. I did rafting in Costa Rica. That was a lot of fun. There's an old lady. The most memorable part of that was on the drive back to the cruise ship. We had to stop at a gas station so somebody could go to the bathroom, and a lady gets off the bus to smoke at a gas station.
Oh, Costa Rica doesn't have those signs that say no smoking at a gas station?
I just thought that was common sense.
No, because of me, there's a warning. God, I use that line way too much, too.
So Ned is looking for the map because, there's a fork coming up. And, of course, it's on Homer's head, and the wind blows it away. And, Ned's like, oh, I can't find the map. And Homer's like, well, lucky for you, I'm responsible. And he pulls out a map from Krusty Burger that shows all the locations.
Yes. Hey, there's a New Mexico? I figure so close to Utah, Homer would have known there was a New Mexico.
But are they in Utah? Like, where are they? Because we'll find out.
I think they're starting to move farther east, because I have a question coming up that I want to know what's going on. But yeah, so with the fork of the road, he's like, so Homer, which way do we go? And Ned has to make the quick decision, and they go, the wrong way. Or maybe the right way. In hindsight, maybe they went the right way. Because we'll see what happens. But Ned makes the quick decision, and Ernest is like, where are those guys going? But you wrote that Ned chose poorly. But as we'll learn, as we keep going through this episode, I almost think that maybe they made the right decision.
Maybe.
But Ned tells Homer that they need to paddle against the current. And Homer says, no, you just need to sit back, relax, and let the current take you back to land. And then they disappear. And so they're obviously,
not on a river anymore.
They're not on a river anymore.
They have to be in the Gulf of Mexico.
Okay, you're thinking they were flowing down the Mississippi?
They have to.
Well, that's the only river.
What other river goes into a body of water like that in the United States?
Okay, so I was thinking, so when you look at the Krusty land, obviously we're getting way ahead of ourselves, but when Homer's looking at the Krusty map, they're going to an oil rig off the East Coast, probably off of like DC area, if I'm remembering the map correctly. So, I don't know. If they did flow into the Gulf of Mexico, did they flow around Florida?
Yeah,
and just up the coast. I don't
Yes,
know if that's how.
I don't know.
I don't know if that's how sea currents work.
I mean, is there a river that goes into the Atlantic?
I don't know. Take a look while I continue on.
Yeah.
So Ned tells like how Homer is now having hallucinations because apparently they've been out to sea for several days. I don't know, but he's singing the Sugar Sugar song while by the Archies while dancing with other candies and then I like how the candies start melting as the tape recorder that Rod has is dying, and then Homer's like stupid recorder and throws it into apparently the ocean that they're in, and Rod's like, hey, and so he's
so there are a few rivers that look like they go into the Atlantic Ocean.
Okay.
There's the Connecticut, the Hudson, the Delaware, the Potomac, the Susquehanna.
Okay, where do most of them
and
start?
Savannah?
Okay, can you see where any of them like generators start?
Apparently the Mississippi. Hold on, let me look at a map.
Well, the Mississippi flows south out of Louisiana, so it's definitely not the Mississippi. But you're saying that's where the rivers start. Well, okay, that makes sense. So because the Mississippi basically bisects the entire United States, it would lead to believe that the offshoot of any river would have to come from there.
Yeah, there's a few. I mean, I don't know the name of the rivers, but there's definitely some rivers that flow into the Atlantic. So so they're in the Atlantic. There's the York River that flows into the Atlantic.
Where does it start?
The York River.
Generally, if you could see a general location of where it starts.
Virginia.
Oh, so okay. So apparently they're okay. So,
I don't.
Okay, so let's put this in perspective, semi-perspective though. We know they went on a camping trip.
Yeah, there's also rivers that flow into the Atlantic from New York.
Okay, but all right, hear me out. Okay, so we all know they went on a camping trip.
Yes.
We could maybe stand to reason because even we in the Boy Scouts left our state to go camping in other states. Granted,
we went to
Illinois.
Yeah, I was gonna say we went to Springfield.
Yep. So granted, we went to another state. So that could lead you to believe that maybe this group decided to leave the state that they are in.
Correct.
To head east to maybe they went to the Appalachian Trail, or maybe they went to a national park that was outside of the state. Now, would they really go cross country? Obviously, we don't know where Springfield technically is.
Yeah.
But it could stand to reason that they did go on a very fun out-of-state camping trip. Because we don't know.
Or is it possible? Because do they specifically say Atlantic? Because there is one in the Pacific as well.
No. What?
If you look at the map, there is a Krusty Burger oil rig in the Pacific Ocean as well.
I think the way the camera was shot and Homer was pointing to the oil rig off the Atlantic.
I believe you are correct.
So yeah, they're definitely the Atlantic. So, okay.
But remember, this is Homer. He is dumb.
Well, at least he knew it was in a body of water.
That's a bar that's low.
Yeah. But Homer's putting the water into his socks because what was his feet dry? I don't quite understand.
No, he had to clean his socks.
Oh, that's right. He had to clean his socks, and it's like, oh, we got to ration the water. He's like, have you ever heard that poem? Water, water everywhere. Let's have a drink. And Homer's stopped from drinking the water because they're obviously in ocean,
which is salt water.
And yes, guys, please don't drink salt water when you're thirsty. It's not going to end well. It'll make you more thirsty.
Correct.
And then I was like, so Ned's like, oh, we're saved. Seagulls are only around by land, or stay close to land, and or if they come out to sea to die. And then we see the seagull splash into the water and die. And Homer says that they're all doomed. And then Bart yells at him Because
Ned is trying.
Ned is trying, and he's like, well, fine. I'll be in charge of rationing the food. And the key is to do little bits. And then he eats the entire bucket of food.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so Homer wishes they are on one of the smart rafts. And we see the other rafts floating through the jungle, which...
Where are they?
I don't know, but I'm sure there's some bridged gaps, branching rivers in, areas, especially on that side, especially since all that area is all, like, wooded. I could see the rivers branching. And we hear the dueling banjos melody playing in the background as there's some things rustling through the...
So there's a silhouette in the back sneaking around. This is a reference to the movie Deliverance. This whole kind of... Because they're in, like, the backwoods.
Yep, exactly. Yep. And so I like how Wiggum is on the phone. So now we cut to Marge, because obviously the kids are missing. Or not the kids, Homer and Bart are missing, and Marge wants to find them. And Wiggum's on the phone telling the person on the other end of the line that they can't file a missing claims report until the person has been missing a week, which is not true. They have to only, I think it's, 24 to 40 hours?
No. That is a myth. If you suspect somebody is missing, you report it right away. Do not wait.
Oh, okay.
That is a horrible myth. I don't know how it's perpetuated, but if you think somebody has gone missing, go directly to the police and be like, hey, this person is missing. Do not wait. I don't know why this is a thing.
I don't know. Maybe
you don't wait.
Know.
But here's my other question. How does she know they're missing? Like,
right.
she knew they were going on a camp, and this is 93. There aren't no cell phones.
Well, there are. Just not
good ones.
Not ones that the Simpsons could probably afford.
So, like, how would she know that they're gone?
Well, no.
What is the time frame here?
Well, yeah, so that's what I was about to say. So maybe the camping trip was supposed to be 5 days, and it's currently 3 weeks.
No, because Wiggum said it has to be at least a week.
So what is a 3-day camping trip? Yeah, you're right. The time frame would have been.
Were they supposed to just do like a weekend rafting trip and then come back and it's like, so they left on a Friday and it's now Wednesday?
I mean, that's okay. Let's call it that because our 7th grade rafting trip was a weekend. We got there on Friday, raft on Saturday, came home on Sunday. So I could see that. I could possibly see that. It was like a weekend raft because Bart would have to go back to school. It would have to be a weekend rafting trip. So let's call it that. Okay. But in the background we see Mrs. Botts and Fat Tony appearing on posters, and I like how Fat Tony's says wanted, like it's a wanted one. Yeah. And then Botts is reward. So I don't necessarily know what the difference would be.
Yeah.
But and then Wiggum tells him that they're busy, and Wiggum hangs up and starts playing checkers with the dog. Because yes, that means you're definitely busy.
Yes.
And I like how Patty tells Marge it's cougar season, and those things don't mess around.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I feel like that's a good thing to do. And so now we see a plane coming by, and Bart tells Ned that they should shoot off the flare gun to grab his attention. And Homer's like, this ain't one of your church picnic flare guns, Flanders. It's the real thing. And then accidentally shoots down the plane.
Yeah, but Homer's like, oh, it's okay. When they come to save him, they'll save us. But another plane comes flying by, and the guy is in a parachute and lands in the plane.
Man, that's some good flying.
That is.
That's some really... They must have been the Marines, man. Those guys are... Not Marines. Yeah. Air Force.
Yeah.
Must have been the Air Force. Those guys are good. Those guys are really good.
So then we see dolphins swim up to the raft.
Oh my God.
And Ned's like, oh, dolphins, they always help humans lost at sea. And the dolphins kind of talk to each other, and we get a subtitle that says, you're all going to die.
Nice. I mean, dolphins are the smartest mammals in the ocean.
I don't know if that's actually 100% true.
No, it is. It's definitely been proven.
Okay. Also, dolphins are assholes. So, I mean, so, Ned's like, oh, we're done for. And Homer slaps Ned. And Ned's like just about to say thank you.
Wait. I know you say that Halloween isn't canon, but this is the first instance where talking dolphins exists.
They're not talking, though.
Well, they are. They have subtitles. Well, they're not talking yet. They probably can talk. They just don't want
Dolphins have their own language.
Yeah, they do.
Like animals. Here's the thing. Animals have their own languages.
Yep.
So, no, this has nothing to do with Halloween. But nice try.
These are the same dolphins that
they're not the same. No, Halloween is not.
Dolphins.
I'm moving on. You're an idiot. Ned says they're done for, but Homer slaps Ned. And Ned's about to thank Homer, but Homer just keeps slapping him.
Yeah, I mean, Flanders was about to lose it.
Yeah, so then we cut back to Wiggum, and he's like, oh, do you guys see anything? And they're like, oh, somebody took all the food. Well, we're not leaving until we get it all back. And they're just docked at the port.
Yep.
Like, they make it seem like they left, but no, they got to wait to get their food. So, Homer, so we cut back to Homer, Ned, and the boys. Homer's using their last cheese doodle to fish, and the fish grabs it, but Homer's not a good fisher person, so the fish swims away, and Homer's like, he'll be back.
Godspeed, little doodle.
Yeah, Godspeed, little doodle. So Homer tells Bart he is going to give him something at the end of the trip, but since they're going to die, he gives him a pocket knife that he swiped from that Ernest Borgnine guy. And so we cut to Ernest and the kids. So Ernest is the only adult now left with the kids?
Okay, that's just weird, right?
Well, they're in the Deliverance Forest.
It's a father-son trip, so every kid would assumably have their father with them.
Maybe the backwoods people let Ernest and the kids go.
Oh, maybe.
And Ernest gets attacked by a bear and doesn't have his pocket knife.
I'll protect you guys with my good trusty pocket knife. Aww.
No. And so we cut back to the raft, and Bart tells Homer he would give him a hug if he had the strength. And Homer is about to hand the pocket knife to Bart, which for some reason he opened.
All of it's open.
And he drops the pocket knife, and it bounces in the raft around, and everybody gasps as it bounces.
Every time it bounces, yeah.
But it just sticks into the raft. They're fine until the sun comes out and uses the magnifying glass to puncture a hole in the raft. Now they're all going to die. And Homer's like, the foul stench of death is upon us. And then he sniffs the air. He's like, I smell burgers. And Bart sniffs the air. I smell it too. And Homer pulls out the map. And he's like, there's a Krusty Burger on an offshore oil rig. And there is.
Yeah, so this is where we kind of talked about how the devil did they get anywhere. But we already explained it, so we won't go through that again.
Yeah. So Homer uses his sense of smell to guide them to the Krusty Burger, which is amazing. And so we go to the Krusty Burger oil rig location where Krusty is there, and he's not happy because
it's unmanned.
Yeah.
It's like, I told you, Krusty, it was an unmanned oil rig.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I guess close it down. And as they get there, Homer comes in and orders 700 Krusty Burgers. And Bart tells him that he's proud of him and he's like, go away, eating. How did they have that big of a platter of Krusty Burgers already ready to go?
I mean, it's fast food.
I guess so. But seems kind of crazy. I mean, It almost reminded me. I like how Homer ordering 700 burgers reminded me when I was always on our ski and snowboard trip where we would call a McDonald's or call a couple locations ahead of time, about 30 minutes, saying, yeah, you're going to be bombarded by 250 college students in your shopping area. And so that we could
250 kids?
Yep. College students that were most likely drunk showing up at how
250.
Yeah. Now we did
250.
Yeah, because we would come in on 4 coach buses and park at a a location with, those locations at like malls that have McDonald's, Taco Bell,
Yeah.
Burger King all in a row. So we would look at a map, see what restaurants are there, and call them all and say, yeah, we're stopping here for lunch. Be ready. And so that way they could call in extra workers or, but yeah, it kind of reminded me of that where it's like they're fumbling around having to make all these orders for, obviously there was only 4 of them, but
yeah,
same theory, especially since Homer eats, like a crazy person.
Yep.
And so we see Ernest and the kids that stumbled upon an abandoned summer camp, and Ernest starts playing the there was a farmer had a dog, and Bingo was his name-o. And we hear the coming from the behind. That's a reference to Friday the 13th. Summer
and
camp.
Ernest is attacked.
And we cut to credits. So
Yay!
So all those kids that we've never seen in Springfield are now dead with Ernest.
Yeah, those kids are dead. I love this episode.
Oh, fantastic.
It is fantastic. It's a 5. Everything's coming up Milhouse.
Yeah,
the jokes are great. The beginning of the episode is just, it's one of the best beginnings out there. Money's too tight for steak. I use that line all the time. It's such a good episode. And it's an episode I can relate to because I was in the Boy Scouts. Now, I didn't get attacked by a bear. I don't think we ever did whitewater rafting. I think we did a little canoeing.
Yep. Yeah, there was always canoeing involved.
There is canoeing, but it's just a good episode. The jokes are funny. It's as close to perfect of an episode as you're going to get to.
Yep. No, Boy Scouts in the Hood, top 10 for me. And I would say top 5 lines are Homer's peanut stuff. Anything the peanut stuff. Even the reading the ingredients. Like, this is just one of those episodes that I could quote front to back. And my wife hates it because she had to sit there with me watching this episode while I
but nobody told her to sit there and watch it with you.
No, but she likes being around me. You would know that if you had any lady friends. But usually
this is a Simpsons podcast, not an Attack Rob podcast.
Oh, okay. Hey, you went there though. You said she didn't have to sit in the room with me, and I had to.
Yeah, because you said she doesn't like it when you quote the episode.
Yeah. But I had to defend. I had to defend her. But
why?
But yeah. Anyway, this is 5. Everything's coming up Milhouse for me. There's literally nothing wrong with this episode. I mean, absolutely fantastic and amazing. So let's finish it off with our character profile. And this week we have Sea Captain. And his real name is Captain McAllister, which I'm kind of sad they never call him that ever again.
Yeah.
Like, that's a pretty cool name. I feel like at some point they could drop it. His occupation, Springfield entrepreneur. His enterprises, the Frying Dutchman restaurant, formerly the Rusty Barnacle. Recordings of old sea shanties, including Blow the Man Down and In the Navy. Those are definitely 2 old sea shanties.
Yes.
Secret Shame, exposed by Lionel Hutz as not a real captain.
Oh, I love that episode.
Oh, yeah. And his dream to sail around the world on 3 vessels searching for riches.
When is that ever stated?
I don't know. We'll have to wait. We'll have to see.
Yeah. I'm
sure it comes around. So, this is a fun episode. I absolutely love it. It's one of the best. So, I want to say, before I get into our social medias, I just found this out. This is obviously airing in a few weeks from us recording it. So, at the time, I found out that we have 169 subscribers on Spotify. I had never looked at that deep into our stats before. I probably should have, but in hindsight, I didn't realize we had that many listeners on just Spotify alone.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So that's awesome for all you Spotify followers. If you guys do listen on Spotify, be sure to follow us on there. I probably will look into our Apple one. I kind of don't look into Apple at all because I kind of don't really care about Apple. But I love anyone who's listening on Apple. You guys are awesome. But I don't really follow any of our stats from there, so make sure to follow us or subscribe to our podcast on any of your listening devices. So Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio. We're on Amazon. We actually have listeners on Amazon Podcasts, which is awesome. So anywhere you guys do listen to us, make sure you do hit that follow or subscribe button, whatever they call it, please. One, you'll get notified of new episodes, and two, it just helps our numbers. On our social media, you can find us on Facebook, The Simpsons Did It Podcast. On Instagram, The Simpsons Did It Pod. Twitter, Simpsons Did It PC. If you'd like to donate to our podcast, check us out on buymeacoffee.com/Simpsons Did It. And we'll send you merch and stickers for donating. All of your donations will go towards all those things. And we do have more to come and more to do. Lastly, check out our YouTube channel. Just type in The Simpsons Did It Podcast. As of right now, we're getting very close. I think we're up to like 88 subscribers on there. So let's see if we can get to 100.
And once we get to 100, don't we get our own URL?
Yeah, because we've already hit the stipulations for downloads, views, but we do need to have subscribers for them to let us have our own channel name. So please subscribe and like and comment on all of our channels. Episodes.
Yes.
And lastly, we have a phone number where you could call and give us feedback and listen to our awesome voicemail message. That phone number is 612-584-0986. So please give us a call and let us know your thoughts. So until next time, I'm Steven Skolansky.
I'm Robert Skolansky.
And this has been The Simpsons Did It.